So yeah, I'm Jen Ashley. So I'm the director of WomenTechMakers London. I'm also the lead of Google WomenTechMakers London. I'm not employed by Google. I wish I was. And then I'm also the lead for Anita Borg Institute London. They're the organization that organized Grace Hopper celebration. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's a conference in the US which is attended by 15,000 delegates, mostly women. And I'm also a committee member for ABIdotLocal, again, another women in tech group in London. There are probably around 20-something women in tech groups in London. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. And we all try and work together. And really the goal is to help get more women into technology. Also to kind of help them get better jobs in tech. I'm on Twitter as Code in Heels because I code and I'm always wearing high heels. So I combine the two that I like. So a bit of a background, I've got a degree in mathematics and a degree in applied mathematics. And the reason why I got into computer science is really when I was leaving university, I was given an award by a local bank, and part of that award is to go for training on coding. And I was just going to go there, for the summer and then go back to school get a third degree. But I happened to like it and I enjoyed it, and the bank also hired me. So I was a developer. I started with Citigroup as a developer, but I progressed to different roles, doing QA in Singapore. I was heading the QA team there. And when I left, I was doing business development, but still within the technology team. And all the while, I thought that the ratio, between men and women in technology was what I was seeing. I thought that was the norm. So I was kind of sort of shielded from the fact that there is something wrong. So after 12 years with Citigroup, I said I'll retire, so I did. But I'm the type of person who can just sit down and do nothing. So I started running some companies. I bought a small money transfer company, was running a travel agency, publishing a newspaper, having an e-commerce site as well, using the tech that I am familiar with. But after a while, I said, hang on a second, this is really not what I wanted to do. I wanted to rest. So I retired again the second time. And that's when I actually encountered Meetup. Initially, I avoided it because I thought it was a dating site. But when I learned that there were tech events there, that's when I checked it out and joined a lot of them and started actually getting involved with organizing some of them. But lately, in the process of getting involved with all these different meetup groups, I noticed that this is what I am usually seeing. So, lots of guys, like we have here. This is, I think, a React meetup at Facebook. So that's a typical picture. And even when I went to Apple's WWDC event last year, this is actually the picture that I saw when I was going to the main hall. So it's a sea of men. And that's why I realized really that there is something that needs to be fixed and needs to be solved, because we're not really representing the users that we're building software for. So I am actively involved with Women Who Code right now. We're in 20 countries now in 60 cities, and we've now got a membership of 80,000, which is still a very small number compared to the totality of software engineers globally. Really small. In London, we've got 3,500 members. We started with 300 in a matter of 2-3 years, where we've now grown to 3,500 plus. So what we do is really to, give coding workshops, and they're all free for women. This one was at Google. I think we were doing some Android workshops. We do hackathons as well. And talks where we have mostly women speakers. This is a coding workshop that I was doing for a bunch of women, and we do get a lot of different backgrounds. I think in this workshop, there was a solicitor who just handed in her resignation a week before this because she wanted to shift into tech, and there was also a GP. She was just really interested in coding. So for me, it's satisfying to actually see that there's a lot of interest out there, and it's great to see people enjoying what they're learning and and realizing that actually tech is not that scary. Some people might say it's positive discrimination because we're focusing mostly on women, but if we don't do anything with this problem right now, then we're not going to be able to change the ratio. So even though it is positive discrimination to some people, we just have to do it. And what support do we need, and what support are we getting? I mean, we definitely need support, especially from men, because there's a lot more of you who can evangelize about the fact that we need to try and get more women into technology. And what support are we getting? Luckily, there are a lot of companies who are supporting this initiative right now. So we don't have problems like, for example, getting venues for the events that we organize on a monthly basis. Sometimes we have 8 events a month just for Women in Code, and there are other groups out there doing the same thing. I think we just have to seize the day and do something, make shit happen. And if not now, when are we going to do it? We have to especially inspire the young girls who are going to be the future women coders. We know that there's a very big gap in terms of skills, and we do need women to kind of help fill that gap. We cannot change the past, obviously, but we can do something about the future. We just need to keep moving forward. There's also this small clip from, I don't know if you've heard of the movie Code Debugging the Gender Gap. This is just a clip from it. If you have a chance to actually watch it.
If you look at Twitter's user base, it reflects basically all of humanity.
There's no doubt in my mind that technology jobs are critical to every part of the economy, every part of the way we live, the way we work.
If we are somehow subtly or systemically excluding women, we are really cutting down on the size of the workforce.
Computer science is changing our whole world. Unfortunately, it's a very undiverse field. It's actually quite segregated.
This is both a gender as well as an ethnicity issue.
It's when the idea of the nerd genius came to the fore, and that's exactly when women started declining in their representation.
We imagine someone sort of sitting at a keyboard typing all day. We don't realize how much design and creativity goes into making software.
You don't have to be antisocial. You don't have to want to not sleep. You don't have to want to spend all of your time with a computer. You don't have to be male.
I think people are sometimes surprised when I tell them I work in computer science, just because it is a male-dominated industry.
As someone who studied rocket science, I can tell you that coding is not rocket science.
Writing software is just a tool to actually go build something cool that you want to build.
To be able to just build a product from the ground up, to make something exist where it didn't exist before, has been really exciting.
There's so many programs and websites now where you can just teach yourself.
It was actually a really important thing for us as a company to establish having women on the team.
The greater the empathy you have with the people that are trying to use the product, the better the product is.
I absolutely think that women can be just as great as men at programming. And the great thing is I can look the way I do, I can wear lipstick and write just as good code as you. And people need to be comfortable with that.
At conferences, there's been sexually explicit comments made towards speakers, towards attendants. It's gross. It's despicable.
We're not seen as part of the boys' club.
There's this assumption there that I brought the coffee.
People would assume I was a recruiter or talk down to me.
I can't think of a single software product that would only be used by men. So it's hard to imagine that it would be appropriate to have any team that was only men or only women for that matter.
Important mantra is you are not your user.
Unfortunately, the first round of airbags killed a lot of women and children. And it turns out that the airbags were developed for the average specs of the engineer on the team. And those engineers happen to all be white men.
You have to be impatient. You have to say, this has to happen now. We have to do what we can now. Whatever it takes to move the number now, we have to do that now.
That's real. I hope you're able to understand why we really need to help get more women into technology. And I hope I can some of you to help with that initiative. Thank you.